Sexy, sexy. I'ma touch you and you gon' touch on me. Sexy, sexy. I'ma kiss you and you gon' kiss on me. Sexy, sexy. I'ma lick you and you gon' lick on me. Oh, so sexy.
I know I'm super fly. I know I'm super fly. Now watch me shine.
These are the biggest stars.
Brilliant left-foot strike by Salah.
Ferocious support.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Pulse-pounding drama.
And this incredible game takes another twist.
All on your home for soccer, Sirius XM FC.
You don't think about it, you just get it.
The Premier League returns August 11th on Sirius XM FC 157 and on the SXM app.
The SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan. You get everything you love about SiriusXM on up to 2 radios and 2 SXM app logins for one great price. Enjoy opportunities for exclusive live and virtual events and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through Nugs.net. It's all included with your Platinum VIP subscription. Call 855-268-1820 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Step behind the defense. First goal.
Stay up late for the U.S. women's national team's final group stage match as the red, white, and blue take on Portugal.
Around with a strike and a goal.
Coverage begins at midnight Pacific on Monday on Fox Sports Channel 83. And tune into a World Cup edition of the football show tomorrow morning at 7 Eastern for in-depth analysis. It's the biggest event in women's soccer, and no one is covering the World Cup like SiriusXM. Also streaming on the SXM app.
Me and my sister really looked up to Serena Williams and Venus Williams just because they're sisters, and we would always do everything together, and just seeing sisters be at such a high level together, being able to have success together was super cool. And like Serena Williams is just such a powerful woman, so it was really cool to look up to her.
Stay up to date with the national team with the experts on SiriusXM FC 157.
Is here.
The process with all our players is to come out and improve, get better each day.
Nobody gets you ready for the 2023 season like us.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Touchdown!
Don't miss analysis from our experts and interviews with head coaches, executives, and players.
Being the number one pick is amazing. You know, the work's just started, so I'm excited for that.
Hear coverage of the National Football League all year long on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SXM app.
There yet. They do need a draw or a win against Portugal to make sure they advance. They may require a multi-goal win to top the group. Tuesday morning / Monday night, 1 a.m. Eastern, the coverage begins live on Fox of the United States and Portugal. Vlatko Andonovski has lost just 5 of 63 games in charge since taking over for Jill Ellis in 2019. The U.S. boss coming under criticism yesterday after opting to just make 1 of 5 substitutions in the draw with the Netherlands. Here was his explanation after.
But I thought that we had a control of the game, and I thought that we were knocking on the door of scoring a goal. The players played well. We were around the goal the whole time, and I just didn't want to disrupt the rhythm.
The SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do. Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Training Camp Tour is on the road, getting you ready for the season.
You gotta practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Starting tomorrow, our experts are visiting all 32 teams and interviewing coaches and star players from across the league.
Quarterback Aaron Rodgers got Super Bowl III trophies, looking a little lonely.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment.
Channel 88 is your all-access pass to your favorite team. And listen to all of our NFL Radio Training Camp Tour shows anytime on the SXM app.
It's a 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B heat wave.
Fly, summer sounds, a mix of massive hits guaranteed to keep your cookout crunk.
And your beach blanket bumping.
The Fly Summer Sounds Mix.
Now playing in the SXM app.
And for all your 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B needs, check out SiriusXM Fly, Channel 47.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritize customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through Nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe. Welcome to the neighborhood on a beautiful. It is July. I'm telling you, it's almost August. That doesn't make any sense. How's it already July and we're almost in Dimdare Hills on July 27th? That 2 and 7 is 9, like 9 Series DNA. Give that some praise. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them to sit you with the good Lord split you. As well as profitable fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe. You follow Big C Sports Podcast on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, the Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can find us on GeoSavant Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. You can find us on YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podigy, Podcast Republic, Good Pods Podcast, and the only one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't, is the one called AllThings.ai. Get us in praise. The robots are taking over. In fact, the Pentagon, they said they found some UFOs. They found some UFOs, and they had life forms that were not of this origin, of earthly origin. Now, I can't confirm or deny, but give UFOs some praise. We can't be the only one trying to listen to the Big C Sports Podcast, if that makes sense to you. I'm telling you, you can also follow the Big C Sports Podcast, streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. And if you don't have a smart TV, maybe you can get a ride. You can get a ride on a UFO. Who would take that ride? You know, people talk about hitchhiking. I've heard of people that went into Las Vegas and they went there with $500 because they were going to hit the slot machines and win it big. And then after about a couple hours in Las Vegas, they were trying to hitchhike home. I said, now why are you hitchhiking home if you went there and won a few $1,000s? And he said, well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and his money's part of what stays in Vegas. Give staying in Vegas a praise. They don't build those hotels by letting you win. If that makes sense to you, they don't build the hotels by letting you win. But if you want to win, I want to give out our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. You know, anybody going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And a lot of times our veterans, they have issues and they just need some help. If you got the chance to give out that hotline number, it can help somebody. They will stand on their head to help somebody if that makes sense to you. Also, I'm going to tell you, back by popular demand. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, hello, hello. Hello? Hello, hello. Am I on a speakerphone? No, you're not on speakerphone. I hear a lot of guys sitting around the fire camp trying to see if they can get someone to give it the water. Hey, is this Carlton? Yeah, this is Carlton. Who's calling? Carlton, I called you the other day, and I wanna apologize because obviously I didn't do a good enough job to get you to give me your credit card number. I said, well, what do you want to do today, sir? He said, I don't think you understand how much money you lost by not listening to me. I said, well, what I got to do today, sir? He said, you got a credit card? I said, yeah, I got a credit card. He said, well, good. I want you to pick these games. Don't ask any questions. Just give me your credit card number, and I'm gonna make you rich. I said, well, that sounds like a bargain. I said, well, how much do I gotta come up with? He said, well, how much can you put down, Carlton? I said, I think I can go with 10 this time. He said, 10? I said, I can do 10 this time. And he told his homeboys, he said, you know what? This guy's coming up with $10,000. We're gonna get $10,000 out of his wallet today. I said, I heard you over talking. Did you say 10,000? He said, yeah. Didn't you say 10? I said, no. I can bet $10. The dude called me a smart aleck. He said, you are a smart aleck, sir. But at least he called me sir. If you're a smart aleck, sir, and you want to bet $10, they probably gonna hang up the phone. That's what they did to me. 800 Gambler. If you like giving a stranger danger your credit card with your expiration date, and they oftentimes will find your address by you telling them enough information. And so that way, if your credit card don't go through and they cover the cost, they'll send Guido looking for you. If you want Guido looking for you, that's not a good thing. If you don't want Guido looking for you, 800 Gambler, a lot of people do have addictions. Some people are addicted to, let me just say, cigarette smoking. Some people are addicted to drinking. Some people are addicted to doing things that they should not do. And when a company sells you a product and they say, we come with substantial risk, that's a clue. If they give you a clue, imagine going to date somebody's daughter. Who is it? This is Tyrone. Tyrone, how can I help you? I'm here to pick up your daughter. Well, which one? I got 7 daughters. Oh, you got 7 daughters? Well, which one's the prettiest? You know, Tyrone up there. And the daddy comes to the door. He said, oh, you must be the rich Tyrone. You're the one that play ball. Come on in, Tyrone. In fact, wake your mom up, too. Tyrone, he plays ball. He want to go out with one of my daughters. You can take the whole family out. And he said, I'll take him out, but I want you to know, I come with a warning. He says, I come with substantial risk. Be careful. People who say that, 800 Gambler, they tell you, be careful of them. And some people don't listen. That's why they end up hitchhiking home to Las Vegas. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he also said, let there be light. I want to shine some light on the world when it comes to sports, politics, and the good Lord, if that makes sense to you. My show is a little bit different. I do my show unlike many other shows. Last night for dinner, I had some seaweed and I had some mushrooms, the good kind of mushrooms. And it had some chicken and some noodles. And boy, it was filling. Now, you know food is good when you drop some on the floor. In fact, I dropped some on the floor walking for the kitchen. It was so good, I picked it off the floor and I ate it. But as long as you do it, as long as you pick it up before 5 seconds, I think you're okay. It was some good noodles and I ate it. I had the 5 seconds. I think I got it up in 3 seconds. As long as you beat the 5-second rule, you can eat stuff off the ground. I've been doing it all my life, if that makes sense to you. I'm telling you, I walk and talk by faith, not by sight. I always produce the shows. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I could use more laughter in my life. And then the commercials are done. I'm the only sports show in the universe that does all of my commercials before the show. It's like going to the movies. They run all the commercials before they do the movie. If you're on a TV program or most sports shows, they'll have the commercials before. It's called pre-roll, and then they'll have the show. Then they'll have 2 or 3 commercials throughout the show. And I don't do that. I just go commercials, and then I do the whole thing. And then I'm telling you, the commercials are done. The stats provided. The storytelling. I do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch. Curveball. Sugar. The hit. Deep. Left field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friend. I love saying the girls love the long ball. And men love to hit deep. Some people may have heard that in Scarface, if that makes sense to you. But what does Scarface tell Manolo when he tried to date his sister? Unlike Tyrone coming to the door, said he wanted to date a man. He wanted to date a man's wife and his 7 daughters. Scarface says he said she not for you, man. Be careful of Scarfaces. They gave you the warning. At the same time, the show's uploaded to 27 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City, and I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. That's about 3,000 miles away. And number 10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports back with the crew at Salem Media. And from there, now 27 podcast platforms, 4 TV platforms. There's going to be another one soon. They may be joining in August, but I want to give that some praise because somebody's listening, and it's not just me. You see, the louder you scream, the more people listen. That's why I'm asking for $6 billion. I know you good boys in Dubai hear me, but I'm not just talking to Dubai. I'm talking to the good Lord, the Ancient of Days, the Alpha, the Omega, the same person that let us wake up this morning. And it's going to happen. I want to make sure that happens. I want to also pay homage to the Associated Press, Janie Har. She wrote an article on reparations. And when she wrote an article on reparations, she didn't call CNN. She didn't call ABC News. She called Charlton Curry of Big C Sports. She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations, Charlton. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. She said, I didn't even ask you the question. I said, but that's the same answer to all the questions. Get that some praise. Reparations now. In fact, I might change my name to reparations. If that makes sense to you. That'll get them. I'm telling you, the idea is growing. More and more men are starting to understand Genesis in the Bible, where God gave men talents. And some men were afraid to use their talents because they were afraid of what Massa would say. They were afraid of, what if other people don't believe in me? What if I'm the only one that believes in what you're talking about, God? What if I'm the only one? And so a lot of times men are just afraid, not that they're afraid, but they're afraid that they might make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time. You just say, hey, you just keep going through it. You know, basketball players, Michael Jordan, that good a boy, he didn't make every basket that he took. LeBron James, he doesn't make every basket that he's taken over his career. And he's the leading scorer in the history of the NBA. He still got baskets to make and miss, but he doesn't stop shooting. Steph Curry's the most prolific three-point shooter in the history of the universe. He doesn't make every three-point basket. And now when I can get Steph Curry to start talking about reparations and not just these apps that he's selling on television or some type of Subway commercial, and realize that not everybody's going to sign an NBA contract. When we get guys like LeBron James to come out and say, I know I'm a great man, I know I'm rich, but let's start doing what God talked about with the talents in the Bible. He gave some followers 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. And oftentimes the ones that were given the most, they did the least with it. And he called them wicked and slothful servants. I know everybody has their own plan. You can't please everybody. I can't please everybody. But I'm going to do my part, and I'm so emboldened. Give Emboldened some praise. I'm emboldened by some things that I heard last night before I was falling asleep in Dimdale Hills, California. It came from the east coast of Boston. And no, it wasn't about more clam chowder. It was Jaylen Brown. I'm going to talk about it earlier because he is one of the few athletes that I hear talking about the Black Wall Street. Yeah. The Black Wall Street. People laughed at it at the time. Oh, you talking about the Black Wall Street? Man, they ain't going to do nothing for y'all. I'm just one beautiful, intelligent black man. But I'm going to use every power that I have to ask every person that believes that we owe our ancestry, our great-grandparents, our grandparents, our parents, our great-great-great-grandparents, and our children, and our future children. If we owe them anything, we got to owe them, and we got to do it. This is probably the last time in the next 50 years that we can make a clarion call to get reparations passed. We got to do it now, because now people are awakened. The 9 Series DNA is awake! When people realize where we came from, all that came from the African continent. According to Dr. Lee King Recomendo, don't let them put you into shucking and jiving and pigeonhole you into just playing basketball. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Home man winning! He's going all the way. We are not just entertainers. We are not just going to shut up and dribble. The Cleveland Summit happened 50 years ago. It was Bill Russell, he's gone. Muhammad Ali, he's gone. Jim Brown, he's gone. Kareem's still here. There were some other dignitaries, and they talked about equality for men of color. For men of color with the 9 Series DNA to beg men with 6 Series DNA is like the pit bull begging the lion for courage. Remember in The Wizard of Oz, where the lion, I think he just wanted some courage? The lion, the king of the jungle, he was looking for some courage? The lion? That's like the lion going to the pit bull asking for courage. A lion could devour a pit bull. And we, as a black people on this planet, we have so many people that have helped us get here, that were beaten, that were sold off, that were lynched, that were raped. They didn't have a Me Too movement when black women were being gathered up by Massa and he was passing them around with his other friends, and they had no recourse. And because slavery was abolished, now what people try to do, they try to get you liquored up. They want to get you to the club. You want some Cristal? You want some Dom Perignon? How about some Top Shelf? How about we get this liquor inside of you so you lose your bearings? And a lot of women fall for it. Almost every woman that's been a part of that Me Too movement, they said they were not lucid when it happened to them. They said somebody put something in their drink. And what do men do to women now? They try to get them liquored up. Let's go out to the club. Let's go bar hopping. Not because they love you. If they love you, invite your children to come. If they love you, invite your parents to come. They're trying to get you alone so they can do something to you. And don't let it happen to you. When I was in college, I heard about things that happened to women. These sororities that the sororities would have the fraternities would have the men, the sororities would have the women. And a lot of those fraternities, they talk about getting those women liquored up so they can take advantage of the freshmen. They didn't want them sober. That's a clue. In the inner city, you find more places to buy booze and hard liquor than you do fruit stands. You find more liquor stores than grocery stores. Oh, if I was a slave, I would have ran away. Really? Running right to the liquor store. Who trained us to do that? No grocery store with fresh food, but let's get them liquored up. Because when you're liquored up, you lose your faculties. And some people, they're so liquored up, they think that they could get drunk and have the same brain function. You can't. But that's their goal. Get them drunk. It's hard to find a liquor store in some parts of town that are mostly Caucasian. They don't allow it. It's not zoned for it. They'll find it in the grocery store. But there are places in inner cities you can drive around and find hard liquor store without grocery stores present. Why is that? It's by design. Don't let them put it in your stomach. And because that's just my opinion. We got a lot of things to happen that are great for all society, especially African Americans, descendants of chattel slavery. Almost every person I know now is asking me for money. They want me to invest money in whatever they're doing, and I'm asking for $6 billion. Once I get my $6 billion, then I'll give you $100,000. I'm asking for $6 billion, and if you're a black person and people know that reparations are coming, you mark my words, they're going to have to ask you to fund their business. Can you fund my business? Yeah, after you help me get $6 billion. A lot of people got children, they're trying to feed those children, and you're going to have people coming to you with a scheme telling you how they have a way to help you get rich. All they need you to do is go to your bank and put some money from your bank account to their bank account, and they're going to make you rich. All you got to do, I learned this I knew some pimps growing up, I knew some hustlers growing up, I knew some attorneys growing up, and you know what they always said? Whatever somebody asks you, ask them for the same thing. You want me to give you $100,000? You know, that's ironic that you would ask me that question, because I was just going to ask you to give me $100,000. Game recognized game. If you want something, you give first. Keep that in mind. If you want something, you give first. If you want somebody to love you, say, I love you first. Because you're going to see more people coming to the black community with a bucket. It's called, this is my investment. Put your money in this bucket and watch it grow. Because that might be the last time you see that money. If someone's going to have you invest, have them show you their portfolio of investments. Have them show you how much money they really have. Give that some praise. You want me to invest $100,000 in you? Show me your bank statements. Oh, well, that's personal. I can't show you my bank statement. But you want me to go to my bank and give you $100,000? And you won't show me your bank statement? Yeah, but you're black. You're supposed to trust me. Why you ask so many questions? Why don't you just do what I asked you to do? When someone asks you for money, ask them to show you their money. Ask them to show you their bank statements. And see if they do it. You know, if you go to buy a house in the mortgage business, they ask you to put your proof of funds in escrow. Oh, we don't want to put our proof of funds in escrow? Just trust me. They don't go by trust. They ask you to put the proof of funds in escrow. So when somebody think they can slick you, and they come to you saying, we want you to invest $100,000 into my pipe dream, into my bucket, ask them to show you their bank statements. Ask them to show you what they already own. Ask them to show you what they've already done with the money they already have. And oftentimes the conversation will stop. They'll go on pause. They'll go on pause. Because a lot of people don't have what they're asking you for. If they do, let them show it. What did 2 Live Crew say in the last conference? They said, show me the money! I think it was 2 Live Crew. Jerry Maguire won those movies. I want to also say Google the Survivor Today Act of 2017. The Justice Department. Think about this. The Justice for Uncompensated Survivor Today Act of 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. That was 2017, not 1917, not 1817, 2017. And some people don't even know about that, but you heard it on Big C Sports. And so that's when I talk about reparations. The Justice Department knows it, and it's going to happen. United Nations Human Rights Chief also calls for reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. I want to get into something because it's really important to me today. I was so emboldened last night, and I'm going to talk about it more because my clarion call on Big C Sports Podcast, I know people listen. I know a lot of professional athletes. I know a lot of agents, sports agents. I know a lot of clergy. There's a lot of people that I've known over the years. I grew up around professional athletes. I know what it's like. I know sometimes people want to come at you and they want to suck off you so they can make you rich. And it's going to happen when reparations passes. The black community, just like they prey on us with liquor and drugs in the inner cities, the drugs weren't grown in the inner cities. They were dropped in there. There were drugs that were brought into inner cities to get people screwed up. And unfortunately, some of our people, they take the drugs and they hustle each other, sell them to each other's children. They do the same thing with alcohol. They get us liquored up because when you're liquored up, you can't function right. You might think you can, but you can't. And they're plentiful in the inner city. I want to thank the California Reparations Task Force because this may never happen again. And it got less notoriety than the Oscars. Hashtag Oscars so white. And I see many of our luminaries are black Americans that go to the Oscars knowing they're not going to win because they don't like your butt. But you get all dressed up and liquored up to go sit there and smile. You're smiling and you're smiling, and then you're disappointed when they don't choose you. And you didn't even show up at the California Reparations Task Force meeting. That's for our people! I want to give praise to it. It happened June 29th, 2023. It was at the Secretary of State building in Denver Hills, California, also known as the state capital, Sacramento, California. I want to thank and pay homage to the chair, Camila Moore, the chair, brilliant. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair, brilliant. The best senator in the United States, Senator Stephen Bradford, brilliant. Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Dr. Cheryl Grillis, brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at Berkeley, brilliant. And Donald K. Tamaki, brilliant. Give them all some praise. They showed up at the task force when many of our Hollywood brethren didn't show up. I mean, maybe they're afraid. But I'm going to talk about something that's not afraid. It's important to me because I was telling almost everybody I know that there's an 1,100-page recommendation for lawmakers. The task force recommends major reparations. 1,100-page report provides recommendations for lawmakers. You think you're going to hear about it on the local news? Let's not talk about it. Let a black person commit a crime. They'll show his face all over TV. But this 1,100-page report recommends for lawmakers to read. Lawmakers, the clergy, educators, they should read it because it's there. You heard it on Big C Sports, and probably the only sports show in the universe that you ever even hear about it. Because a lot of people are afraid. Don't be afraid. Before I get into the story today, that's so important, and it's emboldened. It's emboldened me because I know a lot of people, they want to do something. They just don't know who to follow. They think they want to follow someone that's been propped up on television, and those oftentimes are not the people to follow. I even heard some knucklehead say, well, I don't want reparations. I pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I know my ancestors were lynched, they were raped, they were sold off, they were beaten, their children were sold. Their children were murdered because they wanted to read. I don't need no reparations. Even Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, our minority leader now, having his own health issues. But you know what he has? He has access to medical care. You think the slaves had access to medical care? No, they worked him to the death. His family owned slaves. He's sitting on unclean hands. You would think you'd have the decency to say, you know what? We do need reparations. Give that some praise. He needs to say that because his days are numbered. And he knows he's going to meet the Ancient of Days. The parable in the Bible about the talents, Matthew 25:14-30. It tells of the master who was leaving his household and he wanted some. He entrusted his property to his servants according to the talents that they possessed. That's important. We could all ask ourselves, which one are we? Which one are we? One servant received 5 talents. I said that's our major superstars, our Hollywood stars, our athletes, black and white. The second received 2 talents. That's our ancillary actors, maybe entertainers, not the most popular in the world, but they're well known. And then there was one. The third one received only 1 talent. Maybe he only needed 1 because he could do more with 1 than the other could do with 5. And that's what I got. I'm the only black podcaster in the universe that was called by the Associated Press to ask my thoughts on reparations. They didn't call some of our Hollywood actors and actresses and some of our media people who are built up on pedestals. They didn't call them. They look at those people as intellectually vapid. What are they going to get out of them? If I'm wrong, prove it. Join the Black Wall Street. It's coming all over the country. You know, the ones who were given the most talent, the servant wasn't pleased with them because they were afraid. The one given 2 talents, the master was somewhat happy, but you could have done more. But the one given the least amount of talents, which is Big C Sports, I don't have producers around me. I don't have teleprompters. I don't have a research crew. I do it all myself with my higher self, with God as my guide. My higher self, I tap into it. Oftentimes, I just do. And if I was wrong, then why are NBA players doing what I'm doing now? Give that some praise. Not all of them, because some are still afraid, but that's okay. You're not always going to have a leader in your organization. Oftentimes, they will put a guy in a leadership role if he shut up. Just shut up and dribble. But oftentimes when guys realize they're a lion, why would the lion go to the pit bull and ask for courage? Pit bull, can you show me I'm a lion how to have courage? What was that in the Wizard of Oz? I think the lion wanted courage. Why would a lion not have courage? Why would a lion not have courage? When his DNA is a lot stronger than the pit bull. And we're asking for equality, not revenge, but we have our receipt. When you want to take something back to the store that's broken, if you have the receipt, they give it back to you. That's why we're asking Congress to get behind this push for reparations. We're not asking the Southern Confederates and the Ku Klux Klan that got the 40 acres and a mule. You don't expect to go to the Ku Klux Klan and ask for reparations? And some of them have offspring too. They listen to Teddy Pendergrass when Teddy Pendergrass said, "Turn off the lights, ding, and light a candle. Dun, 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 dun. You see, I'm in a romantic mood, yeah." He said, "Turn off the lights and come to me." He said, there's something I want to do to you, baby." Well, the Southern Confederates, they heard Teddy Pendergrass too. And they were turning off the lights also. But at the same time, just because some people in Congress are antithetical to blackness and they're trying to legislate blackness and black history out of education, you don't have to listen to them. There's a lot of people in Congress that are fair. I know there has to be. Just like there's 12 hours in a day, there's 12 hours at night. Not everybody's crooked. But you have to be crooked if you're anti-reparations, especially when you read the 1,100-page report. It's important. I heard last night Jaylen Brown, he's an NBA basketball player, and I'm so proud of him. Jaylen Brown wants to bring the Black Wall Street to Boston after signing the richest NBA contract. It's got to be the shoes. He didn't talk about signing some damn shoes. The two-time NBA All-Star Jaylen Brown, he signed the richest deal in NBA history. On Wednesday, it's a 5-year, $304 million Supermax contract extension with the Boston Celtics. Now, Brown said he wants to bring Black Wall Street to Boston. And black men, please, quit begging white men to be a man for a change. The same way we do in sports, you dominate everybody in front of you, and you know it's true. We got to do the same thing in the courtroom. Quit asking somebody, "Hey man, can your pit bull teach my lion how to be a real lion?" We have the 9 series DNA. It's scientifically proven. Brown said he wants to, and anyone can support us. This is not like Black Against the World, but it's about reparations that have been robbed from Black Americans. And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he knows it. And President Biden knows it too. Brown said he wants to bring Black Wall Street to Boston. And he should get praise from the NBA, not just Big C Sports. And he says he wants to tackle the unsettling wealth disparity in the city and stimulate the overall economy, like the Homestead Act in 1862 did. It gave over 276 million acres of land and resources to white Americans and even white Europeans. What about the black people who built the land for free? No, you get nothing. You guys can pull yourself up by your bootstrap. You can lift every voice and sing. We're going to give you songs to sing. They gave the white people the land. When you have land, you can go to the bank. You can get a loan against it. You can sell it. You can grow a farm on it. You can grow buildings on it. They didn't give it to black Americans. They gave it to white people. And even white people know that. And even the white people who are really decent, egalitarian, I want to give them some praise too. This is not Black Against the World. It's about good versus evil. It's about good versus evil. And there are good people in all hues of colors. But Brown talked about the unsettling thing and the wealth disparity in the city and stimulate the overall economy. He said he wants to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston. Now, me as Big C Sports, I've been interviewed by the Associated Press about reparations. I'm also doing with the National Black Wall Street Project work to bring reparations around the country. I pay homage to the President and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project, Reverend Tony Pierce. President and CEO. And when I hear of other young black athletes, I just want to give him praise because he's not the one that's popped up as the leader of the Boston Celtics or the leader of the NBA or the leader of the NFL or Major League Baseball or WNBA. But if we get more, all we need is just like one person from each team that's not afraid that's willing to be the lion and go to your owner and say, we want you to support this cause called reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. Oh, what's reparations? Well, President Abraham Lincoln, he promised black Americans, the soldiers, if they joined the Union to help defeat the KKK and the Southern Confederates, he promised them 40 acres and a mule to help win the Civil War. That guy, Lincoln, was not black. But you had to understand something. Fairness is about fairness, not about the color of your skin melanin. And so when he says he wants to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston, he says, I want to attack the wealth disparity here. And I think there's analytics that support that stimulating the wealth gap could actually be something that could be better for the country, for the entire economy. Brown said at a news conference at the MIT Media Lab in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and our good white brethren, they believe in him also. Give that some praise. Don't make it about black and white like the Southern Confederates wanted to. I know there's some conservative talk shows, and they want to make, oh, this is black people. They want a handout. They want what we get from the Homestead Act. They want what we get from all that unpaid labor. It's about equality. The biggest financial deal in NBA history. He signed it. Like the talents in the Bible, Matthew 25. Read it, 14 through 30. It makes sense to talk about 1 year investment community. But the wealth disparity here that nobody wants to talk about is the top 5 in the United States. And it's something that we can all improve on. It's unsettling. You know why it's unsettling? Because it's like a burning house and people pretend it's not burning, so they keep watching the game. Just watch touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. And the house is burning and people sitting there watching us play sports. But we can fix it. All we need is a few good men. Even if we can only have one man of courage on each team. I'm not saying that athletes can solve everything or entertainers. It's about Congress. It's about our president. It's about doing the right thing in a Christian nation. We do not have an autocratic government. We're not an atheist government. We're a Christian nation. Even on the dollar bill it said, in God we trust. And every intelligent person knows that we were robbed. He said, I think through my platform, through influential partners, through selected leaders, and the government officials, a lot who are in the room. I'm so proud of that young man. Give that man some praise. He's not like some of the guys trying to sell shoes. It gotta be the shoes, man! It gotta be the shoes! Not the shoes. Even though I got some nice shoes today, from the 9 Series DNA, the most beautiful angel in the history of the universe. Thank you for the shoes. But also thank you for being erudite and loving and kind. Think about this. He says, I think through my platform, through the influential partners, through selected leaders, government officials that come around when it's time to vote, a lot of who are in this room, that we can come together and create new jobs and new resources and new businesses and new ideas that can highlight minorities, people of color, but also stimulate the economy and the wealth gap at the same time. Brown also added that Boston could be a fully integrated, self-sufficient hub. He says he thinks that Boston could be the pilot, not just for wealth disparity in the United States, but also for around the world. And when asked why the news conference took place at his 7 Youth Foundation bridge program and not the team's facility, Brown said something that I want everyone to listen to. Because it's powerful. People say, why don't you just talk about this around the team where you good boys are controlled? He said, this is the day it fell on, and I knew I was going to be here spending most of my time. So I thought it was fitting for it to be here. I think it was just divine timing. He's talking about God. Divine timing. And now as we're putting the pen on the paper, we got a lot of work to do. I think we're all on the same journey to make this place and this community that we all live in, to make it better. And we all have that responsibility. It's not just on Black Americans. And when he talked about, it may have gone over some people's head. He says, I think it was just divine timing, paying homage to God. Now, what if God had allowed somebody else who's just trying to sell you a pair of tennis shoes to sign the biggest contract, and they get the platform that Brown has, and they say, well, I want to thank my teammates, I want to thank the fans, and I want to make sure that we do everything we can to win the championship this year, and people clear. They're going to clap and say, yeah, we got you, man. We got your back, man. This is our year. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He talked about the Black Wall Street. And everybody knows what it is now. I was saying, I've been talking about this stuff for years. It's not just me, but I know a lot of our black brethren who have the 9 series DNA. They capitulate to people with 6 series DNA and ask, hey, Massa, is it okay if I talk about things that mean something to my ancestry, my great-great-grandparents, my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, me, my children, my brothers and sisters, my nieces, my nephews? Is it okay if I talk to you about getting some help for people that matter to me too, Massa? And a lot of guys have that Massa mentality. They may have $100 million in the bank, but they still have that, I'm a pit bull, can I ask the lion to teach me how to be? I mean, come on. Why would the lion go to the pit bull and ask the pit bull how to be a lion? Think about that. Oftentimes we're preyed upon for our athletic prowess. A lot of these college programs, they will go after the athletic prowess of black men, and they'll go to the inner cities and find them. They'll do whatever they can to get them to come to your school so you can play sports for them. We can do the same thing in the tech industry. We can do the same thing in the law industry, in the legal industry. Legal aids, being lawyers, doctors, attorneys. It's not just about being athletes. We're not going to live forever. But I'm so proud of Jaylen Brown. He's not considered the leader of the Boston Celtics. Last season, Brown, he's a guard forward, averaged a career best 27 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. But that doesn't matter. His deal eclipsed this $276 million contract by Denver's Nikola Jokic. I'm so proud of him for talking about something that will benefit black society the same way our Jewish brethren have benefited from reparations. Nobody said that reparations has made our Jewish brethren worse off. Nobody said that reparations were given to our Jewish brethren because of greed. Nobody said that. Many of our Jewish brethren, they understand. Black Americans supported them. They support us. As a monolithic group. And I just want to give that some praise. Because think about how great our country will be when we work with people that have been disenfranchised, over-policed, marginalized. I know the Supreme Court overthrew affirmative action because they don't believe that slavery ever existed or that Jim Crow ever existed. And they believe that none of that ever existed. They don't believe that the wealth gap is because of damn near 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow, gerrymandering, redlining. They don't believe in that. Brown versus Board of Education, Plessy versus Ferguson. They don't believe in that. They think it's all fair. What if white people were enslaved from 1619 to 1865 and then 100 years of Jim Crow? What if white people were not given the Homestead Act? It only went to black Americans. And black people from outside of the country. But we had all the land and the ownership. what would white society look like then? I mean, there's good and bad in our society, but we got to take the good and make it better. Give making it better some praise. We just got to realize we have a receipt. I want to also touch on one more story. And this happened back last year. I'm so proud of these black men. If we could just get our Hollywood elite, you know, the ones that go to the Oscars and they sit there and they get passed over and they cry when they get an award from an organization that doesn't like you. And our white brethren know it's true too. If I'm wrong, let the Oscars celebrate reparations. See if they'll do it. Give that some praise. Let them celebrate reparations. Reparations now, reparations forever. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think they'll do it. And I hope I'm wrong. I don't like being wrong. But let's see if our Hollywood elite will celebrate black men in reparations and black women in reparations the same way we celebrate touchdown, home run, three-point play, old man Willie, he's going all the way. Put that same type of passion into reparations for black Americans. Last year, Tyler Lockett, featured on the Black Wall Street, won an Emmy Award. The Seattle Seahawks wide receiver, he helped tell the story of the Tulsa Race Massacre, and it's a long-term impact on his hometown. And they talk about the 12th man up in Seattle. But I'm thinking about what he did. The Seattle Seahawks wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, he earned an Emmy Award last year for Outstanding Long Feature Tuesday. Lockett tells the history of black history in his hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma, from behind the lens of Through the Ashes, the story of Black Wall Street. It was the NFL 360 feature described the bustling black economy of Greenwood in the early 1900s, before the untimely Black Wall Street massacre in 1921. And it was massacre that was the people that had money in the banks. The government didn't even insure their money. They have the records. They said they couldn't find them. They didn't give them the money back. He said he just wants people to learn the truth about Tulsa. And a story on the feature of the Seahawks.com is hard to be able to explain, because when you really look at all the events that took place, a lot of this was just 100 years ago. When people understand the history and what Tulsa once was, he just wants them to be able to understand that now they're learning this history. As people around the country are trying to eliminate black history, they're learning the history. And imagine all of this being swept under the rug. They want to sweep it under the rug, some politicians, some school districts. Imagine it being hidden. But also, not only was it swept under the rug, but people were threatened not to even talk about it. That's why I say a lot of our black athletes and actors, they're afraid to go to Massa and say, Massa, would you be willing to help me do something that would pay homage to my ancestry, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, my great-great-great-grandparents? Would you be willing to help me do that, since you love me so much and you want to give me that Hollywood star in the Walk of Fame in Hollywood? You want to put my star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, but will you help me get reparations for our people and give that some praise? Do they love you that much? Or just when you're sucking and jiving and entertaining? Shut up and just entertain me! All life came from Africa. And if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. I'm so emboldened because more people are waking up. Lockett has been very vocal about both his love for his hometown and as well as the importance of his story to American history. I'm just impressed with it. And when we talk about shoes, in each game during the 2021 season, the wide receiver, he had a pair of unique shoes that were celebrating different parts of Tulsa. I think that's so important because black Americans help this country fight every war. And there are enough decent white people that understand that reparations should happen too. I want to give them praise because sometimes our white brethren, they feel so much fear because they know they grew up in a racist society. They knew they may have grown up in a racist family where they heard the N-word joke like a handshake. They heard all that garbage, and sometimes they're afraid to stand up to it. So the ones that are not afraid to stand up to it, I want to give them some praise because they need support too. We are the world. I think Michael Jackson wrote a song about it. We are the world. Imagine doing the right thing for black Americans too. It's important. I'm glad that I got Big C Sports podcast because I've gotten so much criticism from people. Oh, man, quit talking about that politics stuff. Quit talking about that Wall Street stuff. Just tell me who won the game, man. Because some of our brethren, they're paid to say shut up. They're paid to be like an inside spy. Don't dare talk about what will benefit our family. Just tell me, give me my money. Just make it about you, man, and how many points you scored, and how fast you run, and how many touchdowns you scored. I don't like guys like that. Maybe they can just realize you're not a mouse. You're not a pit bull. You're a lion. You have the 9 series DNA. That's the most DNA in any person on the planet. Why would you go to someone else with your head down between your head between your tail? I've tried putting my head between my tail many times, and as big as my tail is, it wouldn't fit. But you know something? I'm proud of men who have the courage, the size of the faith of a grain of a mustard seed. Because it's not just me. I'm not afraid of men. I believe that good men and good women will do the right thing. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. What I can say is reparations now, reparations forever. Because Kennedy didn't pass reparations either. It's going to happen now. It's important. So I'm asking the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, to champion reparations the same way you champion Black Lives Matter on football helmets, on sports jerseys, uniforms. It was on the sidelines, Black Lives Matter. If it matters, then champion reparations too, because that's the right thing to do. When the Me Too movement was out there about Hollywood and the women who were getting whatever somebody put in their system, these predatory men were putting stuff in their drinks to get them drunk so they could have their way with those women. None of those women did it on purpose, I don't think. But some men took advantage of it. Some guys are in jail today. And the whole country supported the Me Too movement. Will you do the same thing for Black Americans? Give that some praise. And if you don't, tell me why not. Put your name on it. Everybody knows that reparations are due. National Football League earned 8 awards in total for his work in 2021, and a Seattle Seahawks legend wide receiver was included in the hall. His name is Nate Burleson. He's on a morning show, one of the morning shows, I think CBS, received the Outstanding Sports Personality Studio Analyst Award for his work as an analyst on CBS Sports and NFL Network. Burleson has also won the hearts of parents and kids across the globe as he spearheaded Nickelodeon's NFL coverage for kids and his second consecutive year receiving the honor. I want to give him some praise. See, we don't need everybody to be brave. We just need a few good people from Hollywood, from the sports leagues, in Congress, and the president. It's the nation's biggest sin. Don't put your head in the sand. We're not trying to please the Southern Confederates anymore. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to please good people. Do it for the children. Do it for all of us. It takes all of us. And I'm proud. I'm very proud that with Big C Sports, I have a platform that I talk about things that I've gotten a lot of criticism for. But even with that criticism, the whole world is catching on now. So when I heard Jaylen Brown last night talking about the Black Wall Street, and I'm working with the National Black Wall Street Project here in California, I'm emboldened. I want to give that some praise. It is so, what Teddy Pendergrass say? It's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. I'll say it one more time. It's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. Let's start loving where we all came from. All life came from Africa, according to Dr. Lee King Recommendo. And the more you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Really do appreciate more and more people being proud to say the truth. Because the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. It will set us all free. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, there's never ever an excuse to drink and drive. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can take a cab, you can even sleep it off. You can just, if you're going to drive, have a glass of wine and then wait a couple hours before you drive. Don't drink a glass of wine or liquor it up and then go get in your car. The life you save may be your own. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. As my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and that's what I'm sticking with it. Well, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All these Big C burgers make me light on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. And as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. In the words of President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it one more time. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.